Hello everyone, this is my video for the doctor interview. I interviewed Sarah Schmitz-Burns, MD at Hagen OBGYN in Minneapolis. I ended up making an appointment for a well woman exam after making several phone calls to different clinics and specific doctors with no response to my voicemails that I left. So I made an appointment and I went in. I usually get frustrated at the OB because I already know what I should be doing and they teach me every time as if I don't. However, she did motivate me to start working out again, so that was a big plus from the appointment personally. After we did the intake, I told her that I was a midwifery student and I asked her if I could ask her some questions. She said yes. At that point, she was palpating my breasts and starting the exam, so I, needless to say, did not have access to my notes, so I kind of just winged my questions off the top of my head. I asked her how she got here, why she chose this field. She said she loved all of her clinical rounds during school, but obstetrics was a good mix between preventative medicine and surgery, and it was always something different and exciting. She also liked the continuation of care that she was able to give and mentioned taking care of some adults now that she delivered when they were babies. I sort of blurted out, "Do you use cytotech or have you?" She said yes, she still does for inductions as well as hemorrhage after birth. She did not seem fazed or offended by my question whatsoever, which I honestly found a little bit surprising. Quote, "No one challenges obstetricians," from page 34 in Born in the USA, which I didn't feel as though I was challenging her, but I could see how that could kind of stir up those sorts of emotions. I asked her if her care reflected more of Hagen OBGYN or the Minneapolis community at large or the nation. She said that they have to follow ACOG in general and they must read 50 medical journals per year. I related this to the tribal obstetrics chapter because I was curious if she felt pressure from her immediate peers or the larger organization to do certain things, for example, use cytotech. And her response shows me that operating under ACOG requires possible misinformation. Quote, "Too many of its policies and recommendations are not based on real science." Quote, page 33, "Doctors must learn to read articles in their professional literature much more carefully." And that's from page 43, Born in the USA. I'm not saying that she doesn't read her articles or is practicing in any sort of way. I'm just noticing that if somebody read that many medical journals, I wonder what the journals say if somebody's still using cytotech based on the evidence that we know. I shared with her the study of the midwifery model of care versus the technocratic, and I asked her what her general practice falls under. I also asked her if she thought birth was physiological. She said for healthy people, yes, but the conversation kind of drifted into an area of fear. She said that birthing people should be in the hospital because at any moment a person could bleed out and they need to be near a blood bank. So that kind of shifted very quickly and drastically from what I was expecting her to say after the yes. And this reminded me of the chapter Choose and Lose. Quote, "Because obstetricians have been trained to manage the small percentage of cases of high-risk birth where things can and do go wrong, they end up afraid of birth." Quote, page 39. And I think this interview was a great example of how she was very open and friendly and excited to answer my questions, and there was no tension or anything. It was just a very friendly conversation, and how different we can all be thinking while A, I was asking the questions and listening to the answers, and B, how she was hearing my questions and responding was a completely different experience, I'm sure. So it definitely showed me a good example of the technocratic model versus my personal humanistic/holistic and the midwifery models of care. Hopefully this helps, and I'm excited to see your videos also. Thanks.